In this video, let me have a short lecture on compute instances on PCA, and then I'll show you a demonstration how can we provisioning a compute instance in private cloud appliance. In Oracle PCA, a compute instance refers to a virtual machine that operates within a virtualized environment on the appliance physical hardware. The platform images provided by Oracle use Secure Shell for secure remote access. Other guest operating systems can also be added as custom images. For example, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu, Microsoft Windows Server, etc. Before deploying a compute instance in PCA, you need to deploy a virtual cloud network. IP address of the virtual NIC in the compute instance can be assigned automatically from Sub-Anake DHCP service. And there is an option to assign a specific IP address for the virtual NIC. After deployment, compute instance can be securely accessed via SSH, restarted, has storage volume attached or detached, and terminated when no longer needed. Platform images provided on the PCA has default user OPC without default password. So we need SSH key pair to access the compute instance. The SSH key pair establishes a secure encrypted connection to the compute instance, ensuring that only authorized users with the matching private key can access the instance. An SSH key is required to create a new compute instance from platform images, and you are responsible for managing the key pair and keeping it safe. If you want to use the compute instance to host OCI command line interface or Oracle Designer Toolkit, you may have to look into the MOS document on this slide. There is command that you have to run with the root privilege to disable the bare metal firewall rule so that compute instance can have access to the API endpoint of PCA. Before deploying a compute instance in PCA, you need to deploy a virtual cloud network. A VCN acts as a customizable private network within private cloud appliance environment. For this demonstration, I have already provisioned a VCN called VCN Playground. I used /23 CIDR block. I have already provisioned two subnet. Let me show you how you can provision a compute instance. Starting from Compute Enclave UI, we click the instance. Then PCA will list all the instances in the compartment playground. To create a new compute instance, you need to click Create Instance button. A dialog to create a new compute instance is open. Then you provide the name of the VM. Let me name it Test VM1. This is the drop-down list that you choose which compartment you would like to create this compute instance. And you have a choice to choose the fault domain that this VM will reside. I just leave it automatically for PCA to select. And then you have to choose where should be the source of the operating system. You have a choice to provide PCA the custom images if you import any or create one from the platform image. In this case, let me create a compute instance using Oracle Linux version 8. Then you select the shape. In PCA X10, there is a flex shape. The flex shape is the special shape that you can provide the configuration of the CPU and memory, and it can be flexible. one OCPU is equal to 2 vCPU. And if I put 3 OCPU, PCA will try to provide the memory to be 10 times the OCPU. You can change it. For example, in this case, I would like to create a VM with 3 OCPU and 24 GB memory. You also have an option that you can provide the size of the boot image. By default, the boot volume size is 50 GB. You can change it. Let me change it to 64 in this case. And there is another drop-down list that you can choose which backend storage we will provision the boot volume from. If you choose 20, PCA will provision this boot volume from the performance disk pool. If you put 10, it will provision from the balance disk pool. Let's make it 20 in this case, so the boot volume will be provisioned from the performance disk. Then you have to choose which subnet the compute instance will be attached to. You have to choose the VCN first, and then you have to choose the subnet. Let me choose SN public in this case. And then you have a choice to provide the compute instance with the public IP. Okay. Since we are provisioning a compute instance in the public subnet, you have to make sure that the assigned public IP is selected. Otherwise, you cannot access to that VM. You also have a choice to provide the private IP address of this VM. By default, it will automatically select from DSCP, but you can choose it. For example, if I would like to get the IP address like 100. And then you have a choice to put the host name. Host name here will be provided to create the DNS entry. Let me put VM1 in the host name. If you scroll down more, then you have a choice that you can provide the SSH key. I have got my SSH key pair generated, so I just select the public key to upload. And now you have a choice to specify the cloud init script. If you don't want, you just scroll down and then click the Create Instance button. And now PCA is provisioning the test VM1 for us. You can see the configuration and the network configuration. There's no network configuration yet because they are provisioning it right now. We can go back to the instance list. There's some error return here that they cannot find the information about the VM. And the reason why the Compute Enclave cannot find that information is because this VM is under provisioning process. When the VM is ready, then you can see that the state of the VM changed from provisioning to running. And there are IP address assigned to it. This VM is the virtual machine that runs in the public subnet. So they have two IP address. One is the public IP address that you can access to it from the data center network. And the other is a private IP address. Okay, we get the public IP address from the test VM. Then we open a terminal and we try to access into that VM. The default user is OPC. Yes, to continue connecting. And now we are inside VM1. Let's check the CPU assigned to this compute instance. There are 6 vCPU, which is equal to 3 OCPU that we have been assigned to this VM. Let's check the memory. We assign 24 gig memory to this VM. Okay. Let's check the disks. Remember, we assign 64 gig from the performance disk pool. By the way, you can see that the root file system is not expanded yet. You have an option to expand it. Let's do it now. You can run a command like row partition number 3 and then volume resize and then extend the volume and then row file system. Previously, the root file system is 35.5 gig. Right now, after expansion, now is 52 gig. Let's check the IP address of this VM. You can see that PCA have assigned 10.0.0.100 as we request when we provision the VM to this VM. And let me try to check the FQDN of this VM. You can see that this VM have FQDN of vm1.public because it sit in public subnet .playground and then oraclepca.com. So we can refer to the VM using the FQDN. That's all we have in this video. Thank you.